Picture a scenario where the power grid is down, society has crumbled, and you're one of the few who saw it coming. What about another global pandemic, but one that has a much higher mortality rate? Possibly this disease X we've heard about? Or armed conflict that comes to your country with hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants that have been allowed over the border suddenly rising up from within in a massive takeover bid. Your pantry's stocked, your rainwater's collected, and your bug-out bag is ready. But what about everyone else? Those who shrugged off preparation are now desperate and potentially dangerous. In this post-SHTF world, survival isn't just about braving the elements. It's navigating in a sea of other danger, the desperation of the unprepared. Picture your neighbor, once skeptical of your survival skills, now knocking on your door, hungry and scared. Or the family down the road with young kids, realizing they're not ready for this new reality. Your readiness makes you a target. You may have never spoken about preparing for an extended emergency, but your unprepared family, neighbors, and friends know you are a competent person, always seeming to predict future events because you paid attention when they refused to. With no 911 to call or law enforcement to rely on, it's just you, your instincts, and whatever supplies you've squirreled away. Non-preppers may seek your help, or worse, try to take what you have. With knowledge and strategy, you can navigate this chaos and keep yourself, and maybe even your community, safe. Survival isn't just about staying alive. It's about holding on to our humanity in a world gone mad. Yes, you've made sure that you and your own loved ones are prepared, but there are ways to help others without giving away information about all of your preparedness. So how do you deal with non-preppers? First, you need to recognize them. They're the ones without supplies or survival skills, vulnerable and desperate. But really, how do you recognize non-preppers? Behavior. Non-preppers will show their lack of preparedness one way or another. Panic buying during emergencies, keeping their heads in the sand about potential dangers, or even those neighbors who eat out every single night because they laugh and say they can't even boil water. Limited knowledge of survival or current events. Engage in a few general conversations with them. Make a statement about something that has happened in the news recently, along the lines of, I wonder how we would deal with that. Engage their responses. Dependency on modern conveniences and inability to DIY. Non-preppers will heavily rely on modern conveniences and technologies. These are also the same people who, when something breaks down, you'll know it because a repairman will be in their driveway ASAP. Ask them afterwards what the service person was there for. You'll know pretty quick if these people have the DIY mindset, viewing a call to a repair person as a last resort, not the first. Their desperation can lead to unpredictable and risky behavior, posing a threat to themselves and to others. Handling them requires different approaches. Avoidance is safest, but it's not always possible. In some cases, you may find yourself in situations where encountering non-preppers is unavoidable. For example, if you're part of a community, it's likely that interactions with non-preppers will occur, especially if they seek assistance or resources. Additionally, in a scenario where resources are scarce, you may need to venture into areas populated by non-preppers in search of supplies or information. Negotiation or cooperation might work, but proceed with caution. Desperation can drive people to make unpredictable or unreasonable demands, and agreements made under duress may not always be kept by desperate people who will promise you anything to get what they want. Therefore, it's essential to approach negotiations with a clear understanding of your own priorities, your boundaries, and your limits. Building alliances with non-preppers can offer mutual benefits, but it's essential to remain vigilant for signs of betrayal or exploitation. Trust is a luxury that can get you killed in this new world. Helping others is instinctual, but in a survival situation, it's a calculated decision. Sharing resources means less for you and for your group. But more hands mean lighter work, and alliances can be valuable. Choosing whom to help is crucial. Those with useful skills or potential contributions are worth the risk. But set boundaries and make it clear that help comes with conditions. Education is another overlooked aspect. Teaching non-preppers survival skills not only empowers them, but lightens your load. Knowledge is power, and by sharing it, you create a community of self-reliant individuals. If you encounter someone in need during a post-apocalyptic scenario, but wish to assist them without forming a long-term commitment, there are several strategies you can use to provide temporary aid while encouraging them to move on. Offer limited assistance. If this is something you feel may be an issue for you, create care packages, ready-made, vacuum-sealed, or storage packets with a supply of emergency needs. Provide the person with essential supplies or resources to address their immediate needs, like food, water, or even medical assistance. But make it clear that your assistance is temporary and that they should continue on their journey once their needs are met. Set boundaries. Clearly communicate your boundaries and limitations regarding the assistance you can offer. Let them know that while you're willing to provide temporary aid, you're unable to accommodate them for an extended period or provide ongoing support. It's also not a good idea to let these people see any of your stockpiles or supplies. Should they ever get an understanding of your level of preparedness, they will find ways to never leave. Encourage self-reliance. If there is time to do so, help the individual to take control of their situation by encouraging self-reliance and resourcefulness. Offer advice on survival skills like finding food, purifying water, or building a shelter to help them become more self-sufficient. This tactic will also allow you to feel more positive about their chances when you send them on their way. So who should you actively avoid at all costs? Aggressive or hostile individuals. Individuals who display aggressive or hostile behavior, like threatening violence or exhibiting predatory tendencies, should be avoided. These people pose a direct threat to your safety and well-being, and interactions with them could escalate into dangerous situations. Manipulative individuals. Beware of people who exhibit manipulative or deceitful behavior, like lying or attempting to exploit others for personal gain. Interactions with these individuals may result in betrayal or exploitation, jeopardizing your safety and resources. Large, uncontrolled groups. In chaotic or lawless environments, large groups of individuals may pose a significant risk due to their potential for mob mentality or unruly behavior. Avoiding these groups can help minimize the risk of being caught in volatile situations or becoming overwhelmed by sheer numbers. Individuals with extreme ideologies. Individuals or groups with extreme ideologies like religious zealots or militant factions may pose a threat due to their rigid beliefs or willingness to use violence to enforce their agenda. Surviving in this new world requires more than just supplies. It's about understanding human nature, identifying threats, and knowing when to lend a hand. Every decision matters, so choose wisely.